more hydrocarbons to burn. Up in the Arctic, where all the Arctic's particularly ironic in the land, and they melted the damn thing. And now they're, okay, good. That makes it easier to look for more. The end of this story was written unless we change script. There's no doubt or speculation or wishful thinking, which is why we said, let's try and go after these guys the same way we did around apartheid 25 years ago. One of the few times that we've been able to stand up to big industry. And that divestment campaign was very powerful. 155 colleges and universities divested, 100 and some city and state governments. And, when Nelson Mandela got out of prison, one of the first places he came was the U.S. He did not go to Washington, D.C. first. He went out to the University of California to say thanks to students who had forced the divestment of $3 billion worth of stock. And he said, we fought for our own liberation, but in a globally linked world, we can't do this by ourselves. We need everybody. We need people pushing who have access to the wealth and the power and the prestige. And we were doing this tour around the country in November, trying to start this thing. We showed a great video, a little video from Desmond Tutu, Mandela's great accomplice and winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, maybe greatest churchman in the world. Tutu said, if you could see what was happening out in Africa, the famine and the drought and things, you would know why I'm asking you to take up those same set of tools that I asked you to take up 25 years ago and go to work. Goodness, that people have. By the time we were done that tour at Christmas time, there were 200 and some college campuses where this divestment fight was underway. It's grown to 343 now. 4 campuses have now divested their fossil fuel stock, way ahead of our schedule. Very exciting to see. And we're still in the early days, we're still in most places at the point where we're just getting boards of trustees to say no, so that we can really begin the work. I'm not going to tell you where, but someplace tomorrow, I think we're going to have the first serious, place where the president comes into his office and finds that he's not the only one there. That would be good. It's very good to see. Very good to see young people taking this up, and very good to see faculty and people helping them. And it'd be really good to see alumni. I take it some people here probably attended college. You've noticed that your institutions continue to have an interest in you. Send you envelopes each year. And we need you taking an interest. In fact, the folks who are launching the new 350.org chapter in Seattle are also working a lot to build up a head of steam around the divestment campaign at the University of Washington. And they're going to meet actually with the regents on the 13th of June. So before that, write a letter to the regents. And there's going to be a rally on the 13th. Pay attention. And pay attention to this new 350.org organizing thing. Next big meeting, May 8th, 7 o'clock, Keystone Church. Keystone, an easy name to remember. May 7 p.m., Keystone Church. Keystone Place. I wrote another piece for Rolling Stone about 2 weeks ago. And I said that I think the time has come to give a name to all this various and diverse activity that's underway. One of the privileges of being a writer is that you get to name things, you try to, are important to help us understand what we're doing. It's not just the kind of scattered people fighting this here and that here, this here and that there. It's a fossil fuel resistance that's emerging all over the country and now around the world. And it knows what it wants. I mean, the world that we're looking for is hard to imagine. All you have to do is look at the few countries that have actually really made a serious attempt to do it. The biggest by far is Germany. Germans got serious about this 15, 20 years ago and got to work. And at this point, more than a quarter of their power is coming from renewable sources. It'll be 50% inside of 10 years, and maybe well past 50%. I mean, it's just acquired this incredible momentum. There were days last summer when Germany generated more than half the power it used from solar panels within its borders. This is Germany. Munich is north of Montreal, you know, and this is, think what you could do if you happen to have, say, I don't know, Texas and California, Florida, Mexico, and Nevada. But you know what? There are, at the moment, there are more solar panels in Bavaria than there are in all of the United States. So, it's not, the point is a lack of technology that flusters us. It's a lack of political will to put that technology to work. And that's what this resistance is trying to build. And it's trying to build it by taking down the power of the people who are in the way. This industry, it simply has to meet its match before the planet meets its match. It's not that we have anything against the people who work in it. The day that we put a serious price on carbon is the day that the fossil fuel companies become energy companies. And one guesses that Exxon, if it spent $100 million a day putting up solar panels, would be pretty good at that. It's just that they can't make quite as much money doing that. The problem with solar energy, from their point of view, is it's difficult to meter the sun, you know? And so they can make money, just not quite as much. And that's why they'll fight it tooth and nail, and that's where we need to be. Sure, I think, Katie, there's a few more pictures here, if I remember correctly. We can go past that one. These are, actually go back to that one, it's a good story. You know, there was a day last spring, last April, when the biggest climate denier of the fossil fuel funded group called the Heartland Institute put up these billboards that had all these pictures of strange, like, serial killers, Charles Manson and shit. And apparently the point was to try and convince everyone that everyone who believed in global warming was a serial killer. It's not only sort of rude and hateful and stuff, it's also just like bizarre logic anyway. It's like, you know, what if Adolf Hitler had believed in gravity? Would that mean that we couldn't do it? But it was actually, I think the reason they did it was because that same weekend, they put these up on a Friday morning, and that day, the next day, we were watching